All right, y'all, welcome back. Hear Me Out podcast. It's your boy Dro, joined as always by my good brother, the Towson graduate, BT. How's it going, sir? NBA has made a big announcement. Woj bomb, sham bomb, whichever one you want to call it. We prefer sham bomb and Hear Me Out podcast. Shout out to Sham. We got the official date of when the NBA will be returning. So it's going to be July 31st is the agreed date for the resumption of NBA play. So what we got so far from this announcement that it's going to start July 31st, there will be a training camp starting June 30th that will last 1 week. They're going to fly to Orlando July 7th. They're going to quarantine for 2 weeks. The season will start July 31st. There's going to be 6 games per day, nonstop. One team plays, another one comes on. One team is going to be in the same arena, I believe, every single game. And this is going to go on until the latest possible game, which would be October 12th, which would be Game 7 of the finals. Hopefully the Lakers are in there. Shout out to Bron. And as far as the teams that will be participating, it will not be all 30 teams participating. Why is that? Because about 8 of them, considering, or as far as they established, 8 of them had no chance or were already eliminated from the playoffs. So it will be 13 teams from the Western Conference, 9 teams from the Eastern Conference. Crazy, 13 Western teams.
Yeah, man.
And they're going to do 8 regular season games per team. And then as far as the 8th spot, this is the tricky one here. The 8th spot is going to be a play-in tournament if the 9th seed is within 4 games of that 8th spot. So if one team is 33, or let's say if one team is 42-42 and the team behind them is 38-44, they're going to have that play-in tourney and they're going to challenge each other for that 8th spot, double elimination. So it's going to be a best out of 3. And that's really where we're at right now. Looks like some of the players are ready to go. Some of them are really, they don't want to play without fans. One of them notably John Wall, LeBron, they've already spoke about how they don't want to play if there's no fans. What is your reaction to today's news, Brooks?
Man, I am, like you said, man, I'm so grateful for this distracting news, with everything going on right now. And, it's just great to think that we're going to have some sports back. I believe the NBA is the first North American organization to, want to resume play. I think that's fantastic. The main thing, man, is finding out, how the logistics of everything, finding out, what happens if someone were to get sick, God forbid. What families can do as far as just like going out the hotel and, getting to do whatever normal stuff they can do. The coaches, these coaches are usually 50, 45 years old and up, and that's usually right around that age range of, being the most vulnerable, the masks, all that. So there's a lot of questions still to be answered, but we have the one question answered that matters the most, is if the season will continue.
Yeah, so and as far as what you just said about if another player gets it, they have determined, or I think this is what they have determined based on the information I've seen online, is that if a player catches the COVID virus while playing in this resumption, they're going to take out this one particular player. I think they're going to take them out of Orlando, or at least take them out of that area and quarantine them specifically somewhere else while everyone else plays. And I think the team gets tested regularly, so they're going to be on top of that. They'll know who has it, asymptomatic or symptomatic. They will be testing, and they'll know who has it. Great news. Great news when you look at it from a fan standpoint. But if you're looking at it from a human standpoint, I don't agree with it. I think that they should have just canceled the season, left it where it was at. Man, what's more important, the NBA Finals or our health moving forward? You know what I mean? The health of the fans, which obviously won't be there, but now the players and their families, because these guys all got significant others, loved ones, children, parents that are in that risk age that you mentioned, the older folks. So we should probably look to see coaches probably wearing masks on the sideline. Players will probably be pretty well covered up on the sideline. It's going to be it's an experiment for sure. But I don't think that it's going to be a bad one. I think it could turn out to be very well. Hopefully these guys are physically ready for the grind of the beginning of the playoffs. This is like the late season, April, like that beginning of late or mid-April push that they're going through right now. And it's going to be really tricky. Hopefully they stay healthy, man. But come on, bro.
I think the one thing to think about too is the fact that, the NBA was a leader in terms of, things. We're canceling the season. They're the leader. They were the leader of that. Amongst all other sports organizations, and now that they're the leader again in terms of, all right, depending on what happens with the NBA, this is what's going to happen with the MLB, MLS, NFL. And that's a lot. That's going to be a lot of pressure on these guys. So I think one of the big things is that they're going to have to be really, really confident and really, really sure about what's going to happen with these next couple months, because all eyes are on them. Adam Silver has been such a great leader for these sports.
Doing a great job.
He's got a big test in front of him, but I believe that just what he's been able to show so far, I think he's going to be able to handle it pretty well and get all these questions answered for us.
Yeah, man, Adam Silver is doing a fantastic job. I personally would take him to be my commissioner over David Stern if I were an NBA player. He's doing a great job. We just need to see what's next, man. What's next? What happens? How are they going to go about staying sanitized during the game? How are they going to go about, like you said, if a player gets sick, what if it's like the second outbreak happens during the season? It'll be another cancellation, and then if it cancels twice, it's done. They really should not bring it back after that.
It's a permanent asterisk that's going to help hurt a lot of people.
Yeah, that was actually my next question. I was going to say, what are your predictions as far as how these teams are going to do? Who's going to come out on top? Who's going to make it to the finals? I guess we could start with that. It's a lot of to unpack with this stuff, but let's ask the first and foremost, who's making it out of the East, who's making it out of the West, and why?
Man, I think it really depends on just, I think you mentioned it before. These players haven't been able to be as physically, prepared and whatnot, since, they don't have the facilities that they used to have. Players like, you yourself and some of these other players that got like the portable hoops, so they're able to do a little help. But, it's hard to just get back into the groove of things when, you haven't played 5-on-5 in so long. These guys aren't like us, being able to just go out at Sligo or whatever it may be and play 5-on-5 out the cut. Yeah. So I think the product will suffer, for a little bit, but I think things will pick up, 10 games in, whatever it may be, and we'll see what happens. As far as your question goes, who makes it out, I think the Bucks make it out still. I think Giannis is playing too well, and I think he's still going to be physically fit and be able to just dominate.
No question.
As far as the Lakers, as far as the Western goes, I think it's going to be the Lakers' year for that. I think the Clippers, I think they just haven't gotten it all together yet. As much as I like Kawhi Leonard and PG-13, I think the Lakers have. I think they have this as complete as a team as you can get from top to bottom.
I agree with you like 50% here. I definitely got the Bucks also going, but I'm gonna have to give the Clippers the edge. But I'll get there in a second. The Bucks, right. No more Kawhi Leonard, no more LeBron James. Maybe no Kevin Durant, maybe, because they're saying Kevin Durant wants to play and that he can play, and Kyrie is healthy. So we need to see what happens there. If Kevin Durant comes back and plays, and him and Kyrie have even the slightest bit of chemistry, they're challenging the Bucks. I'm not saying they'll beat them.
Doesn't, man.
They'll challenge them, but that's a very big what if. If we're going off of just what we got right now, the Bucks have no competition in the East. Even though it looks a little bit better this year, teams were giving each other bump. A couple Eastern teams had good records versus Western teams, but no one's challenging the Bucks in the playoffs. Giannis's play style is perfect to not get hurt by this layoff, and that's because he's driving to the basket every single time. He's shooting a few more jumpers now, but his game is paint oriented, so that's not really going to suffer a whole lot. That's just a matter of getting your cardio in, and I'm pretty sure he's been working out. Giannis and that squad, they got the most chemistry out of anybody there. Bucks are taking it unless KD plays. Then it'll be we'll see, but I still take the Bucks. As far as the Lakers, the reason I don't have the Lakers going all the way anymore is because it took them time to really get into that groove. You know what I mean? Like, it took them basically until the beginning of 2020 for them to really be on the same page and start.
They were playing their best basketball right before the season got canceled too.
They beat the Bucks, they beat the Clippers, they barely lost to the Nets, but they were dominating games, and LeBron was starting to take the MVP out of Giannis's hands. Just starting to do that, starting to score 30 plus. He was getting 8, 9, 10 assists every game, 7, 8 rebounds a game. He was dominating, and his win share I think was the highest for the calendar year of 2020 so far as like compared to him and Giannis, right?
Yep.
But Giannis is still going to win MVP based off of the whole 60 games that they've already played so far, and I just feel like when the Lakers come back, they're not going to have quite the same chemistry. They're going to have to relearn things. LeBron being LeBron, he's going to get frustrated when things don't happen real quick. We've seen it with him in the past. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't feel like that chemistry is going to come back right away. The Clippers never seem like they need chemistry because of how much talent they got on the squad, just raw talent. It seems like that trumps their lack of chemistry at times. And you give Kawhi and PG all this time to rest? Come on, bro.
Yeah, man, no more.
It's gonna be very hard to take the Clippers off.
What's it? No more. What was the joke? What were they calling it again?
Load management?
Load management.
Yeah, no more load management. Fuck no more load management. Yeah, matter of fact, that's a good question. Do you think players will still practice load management?
Fuck no. Can't.
They could, man. They might still, bro.
Yeah.
Imagine like 3 games in, Kawhi Leonard's already like suit and tie on the bench, man.
That'll be a bad look. That'll be such a bad look. And I have to disagree with you about nobody being a challenge to the Bucks. I think Celtics with Jason Tatum and Kemba Walker, Gordon Hayward at times, definitely Jaylen Brown. I think that is a very, very stacked team. I think they'll give the Bucks 7 games in the conference finals if they meet them. Raptors have had 4 months to get healthy. They've been unhealthy the whole season, and people have been in and out. There'll be a challenge. I think the Bucks have a good road to it. I think they'll have a bit easier time to do it, but I wouldn't say that they have it hands down. But I do think that the Bucks can make it out.
See, I'll tell you this much. Give me somebody on Toronto on the Raptors outside of Siakam. Who's going to get them that extra 20 points along with like the big defensive stops?
You still got Fred VanVleet out there. You still got Kyle Lowry, who's proven himself in the playoffs now. Like,
those are 2 point guards though, man. I need a big defensive guy. Who's stopping Giannis on that squad? Nobody. And who's giving him a bucket? Nobody. Not on the Raptors. Not this year.
Still got Spicy P, and they got Stanley Johnson in there. Who else? They got Marc Gasol still there. Serge Ibaka. I think they have some type of formula. They know what it's like to win in the playoffs. I wouldn't discount the Raptors.
We'll see, man. But that's a good point. I think the one team that I can really say will give them some bump is probably the Celtics because of the way Jason Tatum is balling out. And not to mention this hiatus in basketball, it was good for somebody like Jason Tatum because he went from going to Duke, playing 40 games in the season, to the NBA grind where he had to play, the whole season, 2-3 years now. And now he got some rest.
This is what, his 4th season now, his 3rd season
and
now?
And now he finally got some rest. So he's been, bro, if you ask me, man, honestly, I think that Jason Tatum is like, if he were not on that team, the Celtics would probably not be a playoff team without Jason Tatum. You give me Kemba, Marcus Smart,
Jaylen Brown,
Gordon Hayward. I don't see that team going to the playoffs without Jason Tatum, bro. Like, it's just a bunch of Jason Tatum is the one guy that keeps that glue together for that whole team. Brad Stevens, great coach. He can maybe squeak him into the 8th spot, but I don't even see them going to the playoffs without him.
Man, that's a hot take.
Celtics, Game 7. That's as much as I'll give them versus the Bucks, but I just see Giannis dominating a playoff series, and this is like, what, his 8th year, I believe, in the league. Giannis is ready, man. I think he's ready to take his team to the finals after he got embarrassed last year, exposed last year. And we'll see, man. The one thing I'm just hoping for is that these players stay safe and that they don't get hurt or they don't get sick, man. That's the one thing that we want is player safety, which is why the season should have just waited till next year. But hey, why do that when you can make more money?
Yeah, I mean, they stand to lose over $600 million. Now it's about 300. So I don't know, if I was playing, I would want to make a little bit more money too.
That's a fact. We got to think about it from the player standpoint. These players' contracts are getting skimped off because of the time, but they did get paid their last couple paychecks. Adam Silver, I got to be honest though, man. Regardless of if the season should have started or not, he's been doing a fantastic job since 2014. Big shout.
One more thing I got to add to that. At least the NBA players and the players union, they weren't complaining about getting money like say the MLB, but you know, that's neither here nor there.
Yo, the MLB is screwed, man. I don't see them coming back, but that's another conversation for another day. So the NBA returning July 31st. Bucks versus who'd you say? You said Bucks versus Lakers. I got Bucks Clippers. However, I don't want to see nobody. I don't want to see a single person hoisting the Larry O'Brien trophy this year except for LeBron. I don't want to see nobody. I pray that I'm wrong. I pray that you're right on this one, man. We need Bron in the finals, man. It'll save 2020. This year has been some shit, man. This year sucks. Any final thoughts on the NBA and what could be during this resumption of play?
Man, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to watch some basketball, some sports. I need some normalcy in my life, man. Despite everything that's going on, I need to feel good about something. So, you know, prayers and thoughts with these NBA players as they go about this crazy time and this crazy experiment. And I can't wait to see it.
My guy or gal, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, and share this video for the latest on sports, progressive politics, and pop culture.